really great job. Maybe you'd like to meet her.
Hi, so I'm Blake Moore, and I'm part of this Campo Amore Oborus show. And this piece right here is called Riding the Wave, and it uses all found things, pottery that broke on me as a vase, a dish that broke, and then abalone shell, and then some oyster shells. And I just like to work with found things.
Great.
So there's this one, and then if you look up here, these are all altar hangings, and they're made again with objects that come to me in the world. And there's a mix of semi-precious stones and bones and old jewelry and glass beads and things that I've found over the years. So see, you got a deer antler, so it's a little bit of everything. And
That must be a tough piece to work on, you know.
well, no, each one's individual. That's not all one piece.
Yeah.
So we hung that up.
Oh, okay.
So. I like the idea of just the whole thing being one, but it's not. That's not what it is. But that would be pretty. Someone could do that. And then right here is called Pedal Power, and it's a little hummingbird that I crafted from clay and put it on a piece of driftwood and then painted it. This right here is uke flavors. Call this uke flavors, and it's an old ukulele. And what's cool is there's things actually from my childhood. There's a little St. Louis arch, which was something that my dad's from St. Louis and I visited. And then a good friend of mine, his AA medallion from his 1 year. And I just tied in things. I used to make a lot of eyeballs out of bottle caps. So I kind of found my old Carnegie key. So I just found things that I love and put them together. This right here, I used to spin winters in Yalapa. And this is one of the birds of Yalapa, and it's painted on a piece of bamboo that I got from the jungle in Yalapa. So that there, and then this next piece, I call this Tree is Life. And it's also a mosaic using anything I can find. It's a lot of old jewelry and brass beads and then a mirror.
Wherever you can use it.
Various things that people give me over the years. So it's just a combination, very mixed media mosaic. And then over here, this last piece.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
I call this one Virile Inspirations, and as you can see, it is shaped like a phallus, and so I played around with this idea of having to kiss a lot of frogs before it becomes a prince, and you can kind of see the energy coming out into an eagle. And if you look closely, there's a lot of frogs and Chinese zodiac, and I just had a lot of fun making that. This is the most recent piece. I just finished this on Thursday.
Thanks, that's great. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Okay, Rudy, if you just walk us through some of your pieces, that'd be great.
Sure. So I started making these large-scale collage figurines kind of, I don't know, it just was sort of like a meditative practice I would do. I never thought of it as like something I would show in a gallery or in art or anything like that. So I have like magazine pages on here that I've cut out and just little bits of trash I would collect from like the construction site where I was working. And it's all kind of an intuitive process. There's just little textures that I think are really cool, like in a magazine like this, you know, and I just, anything that kind of tickles my fancy, I tend to kind of like collect. So I have this big collection of, you know, it's either trash or it's like artistic gold, you know what I mean? Depending on what mood I'm in that day. But that's what I made. This one from was actually the second one I made. The first one's kind of lost to time. And then a few years later I made this one. And this actually won Best in Show at the Art in the Redwoods 2024, I think it was. And that was kind of a big deal for me personally because I had never thought of this as like fine art or kind of like something that anyone else would want to see besides me, you know, as my own
It's interesting.
project. But yeah, that's kind of these two big ones, and for the smaller pieces, I mean, for me, it's all about, I need in my own life some kind of sense of like meditation and quiet, and so I kind of use making these pieces, like these ones that I was standing in front of, like these ones, that's kind of I feel like it's like a reminder from my subconscious to myself of like how to relax and sort of stay calm and while I'm making it, I feel calm and peaceful, and that's like all that I can ask for in this, in this day and age, in this world. So I really like how these turned out. I had never, framed them up like this, or again thought of them as kind of something that would be in a gallery. So it's exciting for me to show this stuff, and it's really cool to be in a show with my friends also that I'm sure you'll talk to. Like my friend Rusty has these photographs, and they just go so well with the color scheme of like some of my other work. It was kind of amazing to see that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's all magazine cutouts and discarded bits and bobs. That's kind of what I love, and
Kind
this
of
is what I make.
assemblage artist with some meditation thrown in there.
Sure. Yeah.
That's great, Rudy. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye. Let's walk us through some of your pieces. That would be great.
Sure. So my name's Rusty, but I go by Russell Wieland is my name, my fine arts photography name, just to make it confusing. But so this one over here, I'll show you. This is the first photograph that I made in the Walls series. All my photographs here tonight are this series of sort of abstract walls. And I was in France in 2014, and I was walking around with my camera, and I saw this wall, and I did a double take, and I came back, and I was took a picture of it, and it just really did something for me. And so sort of ever since then, I like to take pictures of mostly. I do other things, but in this Walls series, I like to take pictures that would look like if they were abstract paintings. You almost couldn't tell if they were photographs.
Did you spend much time in France?
I spent like about 10 days, I would say. But I went back again, so I was able to go twice, which was pretty cool.
And what process is this? Is this a...
So this is digital photography. So it's a digital photograph, and then it's very little editing on the computer. Just I do a little lens correction for any like distortions and anything like that, and I do bring like the blacks and the whites in a little bit, some like minor sort of. I wouldn't even call it photoshopping, but just sort of like
The textures work nicely that you incorporated. Yeah. Okay, so
yeah. So this one that I made the next year was it's a window in Avignon in France, and it's just again it looks like a painting that I wish I had painted it.
yeah.
But it's just a photograph. There's no editing. It's just textures that I find.
Yeah. It works nice. And is the upper one yours?
The upper one is mine as well. That one I did in Mexico, in La Paz, just this year. So, strangely enough, I took almost a 10-year hiatus from 2016 to 2026 that I wasn't really making much art. I didn't really have my camera. I was just doing other things, living life. And so to get back to it this year and then to be able to have this show is really cool.
What did you do during your off years?
I just went on a walkabout and I sort of did some soul searching and learned more about myself and
Great.
grew up a lot in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Where did you go?
I went, so I'm from the East Coast, so I'm from Massachusetts. So I went to Northern California for a minute, then I was in Las Vegas for about 3 years. And then I went on a journey through California and I ended up here actually. With my friend Blake, another artist on the show, and lived around here for a couple of years, and now I live in Fort Bragg. And I just love it. I love the coast. I love California.
It's a great
my home.
place.
I love it here. So.
Is there any other pieces?
What's that?
Is there any other pieces that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I'll show you these other two while we're at it. these are another two walls. So the one on the top is there was a fire in Nantucket, this millwork place where I work at this hardware store. There was a fire and so all this metal burned. It was the most beautiful colors.
Huh?
So it was just like lavenders
Wow.
and golds and blues. Somehow it was like the patina of the fire that brought out all these colors. So felt lucky to grab that. And then this one was in La Paz this year as well. So I did a new series of 33 walls this year. I just have a couple of them here. But yeah.
And what is just what kind of materials were you working with here?
So again, it's a photograph of I think it's a door. I think it's a metal door in Mexico that was like rusted and almost has like a copper patina on it. It might be paint.
Okay, that's great, Rusty. So
Yeah, and thank you. I'm super happy to be making art again, and I'm gonna be looking around and see what I see out here. Thanks.
great seeing you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'll just show you a few of the pieces that we're showing in this exhibition. This is one of the pieces that I made that's part of a series. So the first time that I showed something like this was last year in the Redwoods, and it's a lamp that's designed to resemble a chrysalis. And if you actually walk around the lamp, you can see that the surface color changes depending on the position that you're standing from. So this piece was actually based on this idea of rebirth and making art when you're in a changing time in your life. It's a lot about shifting energetically and going inwards for a rebirth process. And so this has started a really interesting series for me in terms of spiraling into more lamp making and pendant lights, and the way that this evokes the idea of stained glass or like this like bug insectoid chrysalis shape is really interesting to me. If you want to move to this position, it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, okay, so is that intensity of the bulb changing, or it's
Yes,
just
the
that way?
bulb is on a dimmable switch.
But as you walk around it is what gives it another sort of influence that is changing, huh?
As you walk around it, the colors will shift, so
Yeah,
you'll see
yeah.
different dimensions of it,
Yeah, nice.
depending on where you're standing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on then.
And then over here, we have a hanging piece up above the lights.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a mobile that's meant to catch the light. It has a lot of faceted glass pieces. So the more light that goes into those pieces, the more it scatters around the room. And it's designed to
Could you stand under there?
Sure. So it's designed to be more like a mobile, and it glitters almost like a chandelier. And this piece is made out of copper core wire that's coated in tarnish-resistant silver, as well as genuine pearls. And this little water drop here is actually, it might be a vintage Christmas ornament. I know that they were called icicles. But that's a cool sort of found object piece. And then if we're going over here, we have a carved wood piece. It's called Seasonal Cycles. So this was all hand rubbed and is finished in lacquer. And it's made from a really organic root piece. So a lot of this form was already here, but it was finished really fine and smooth to the touch. And the reason it's called Seasonal Cycles was because when I found it, I had really felt that the energy of this side of the piece looked like a tortoise, and this side looked like a hare. So it's this idea of fast and slow and moving through those different periods where your pace is changing and you're adjusting to a new rhythm. But then other people have also told me that certain parts of it look very snake-like, and that also calls to some sort of cycle of shedding and change as well. So I thought that was really interesting, the different interpretations of it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And over here we have a piece made entirely of recycled materials. It's all paper, and it's representative of like almost like a root woman, because I've noticed that in a lot of nature forms there's very humanoid shapes that come out. And this was actually based on a piece that I saw in a real botanical garden in San Francisco, I believe, in the cactus house. It was a certain type of ficus where the root was exposed, and the movement of it was so human-like that I thought I had to turn it into like a woman.
That's made of paper?
That leads into a lot of these pieces as well. These are all driftwood pieces found locally, and the shape of them really lends itself to that same woman-like figure. So lots of them, these wires are mostly to accent their natural form. And altogether they create this sort of goddess tribe underneath Blake's art pieces too, these altar pieces. It feels very sacred.
Nice. Nice.
It's fun to do. I did it when I was in. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. That's great, Emily. Yes.